In this slide, we are going to discuss what is stress according to plant physiology. And stress is usually defined as an external factor that exerts disadvantageous influence on plant. So it may be an external factor which exerts a disadvantageous influence on plant. And stress is caused as a result of homeostatic imbalance. So uh, we are usually trying to maintain a balance, especially in case of homeostasis. Suppose it may get interrupted, it may result in stress. And the third point, it involves deviations from the physiological normal type to suboptimal or damaging means. Suppose we are observing a plant with a normal leaf, but when it undergo a period of stress, we can observe a lot of necrotic sites in it. So it may be an indication of stress. So as a result of stress, there is a normal shift from physiologically a normal type of condition to suboptimal as well as damaging means. In both agricultural and natural conditions, plants are frequently exposed to environmental stress. So, by understanding the physiological process that underlies stress injury and the adaptation as well as acclimation mechanism of plants to environmental stress is of immense importance to both agriculture as well as the environment. So, uh, we discuss more about the physiology of stress as well as the mechanisms of plants to deal with it. Before discussing stress physiology, we want to know certain terms. First one is stress. It is nothing but an external factor that exerts a disadvantageous influence on plant, as we discussed on our previous slide. And it may be environmental or abiotic factors or biotic factors. Biotic factors may be weeds, pathogens, or insects. So stress is of two types, abiotic stress as well as biotic stress. Then we move on to the next term, that is stress tolerance. What is meant by stress tolerance? It is nothing but the plant's fitness to what? To cope up with the unfavorable environment. So stress tolerance is nothing but the plant's fitness to cope up with an unfavorable environment. Then the third term is stress resistance. Plants' resistance to stress factor is a complex trait that is a result of changes at the molecular, metabolic, as well as physiological levels. So, stress resistance is different from stress tolerance. Stress resistance is nothing but the plant's resistance to stress factors, and it is a complex trait that is a result of changes at molecular, metabolic, and physiological level. It means the ability to survive, recover, and reproduce under adverse conditions. So it means what? The ability to survive, recover, and reproduce under adverse conditions. Here in this slide, we can see a line that is an environment that is stressful for one plant may not be stressful for another. So we have looked to an example. P, that is Pisces sativa and soybean glycine max, grow best at 20 degrees Celsius and 30 degrees Celsius. This is the condition. And what happens? As temperature increases, P shows signs of heat stress as sooner as soybean. So the condition is both pea and soybean grow best at 20 degrees Celsius and 30 degrees Celsius. Pea at 20 and soybean at 30. And as temperature increases, that is environment change occur, pea shows signs of heat stress as sooner as soybean. So comment below which one shows greater heat stress tolerance. Which one shows greater heat stress tolerance? In previous slides, we came across certain words, stress resistance, stress tolerance, and we also see an example of pea and soybean. And in this slide, again, there are two terms. One is acclimation and another is adaptation. What is meant by acclimation? If tolerance increases as a result of exposure to prior stress, the plant is said to be acclimated. So, acclimation is nothing but as tolerance increases as a result of exposure to prior stress, the plant is said to be acclimated. For example, if the plant is exposed to a stress, something which will caused by drought, okay, it will caused by drought, okay, and it have a tolerance of that particular stress, that is drought. So the plant get an increase in its tolerance as a result of this stress. In second case, if the plant again witness a severe drought, because of the prior stress, it has an increased tolerance. So it is said to be acclimation. When we look adaptation, it refers to a genetically determined level of resistance acquired by a process of selection over many generations. So adaptation is completely different from acclimation. Adaptation, by adaptation, it refers a genetically determined level of resistance. So a gene plays a significant role or a pivotal role here, and that particular resistance is acquired by a process of selection over many generations. So I hope these two terms will be clear for all of you.